People begin to become successful the minute they decide to be. That's Harvey MacKay, and Harvey is 100% correct. The minute you decide that you are going to master the charts no matter how long it takes, you have already done it. It is just a matter of time, and you don't have to worry about how long it takes, because once you do it, you'll make up for all the time you ever spent. So make up your mind. 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. Join us. Practice trade. Love this. I have so much fun with the market. It's the reason I'm here for you every day for free. The more I review these markets, the more I talk to you about it, the better and the better and the better I get. I am the one who gets the biggest blessing. People always ask me, they're like, Thom, why do you do this every day? Why do you produce all this content for free? Why do you give all of this away? Well, first off, I want to empower people. Second off, I love doing it. I love sharing my enthusiasm for the market. And third off is that I'm the one who gets the most benefit. Those of you who've taught before, you know that by teaching, you learn so much more than your students do. That is one reason I do it. It's not all selfish, but there is a selfish component there. So let's jump into these charts. This is one of those days where everything is up. Some days everything's down. Some days it's mixed. Some days everything is up. Well, today is an up day. The biggest gainer for the day is Bitcoin, up 5.55%. We'll get to that at the very end. Let's jump first into the S&P 500, up over 1%. Moving in the right direction. Saw where things went down yesterday. Then we had sort of a doji here in the morning, green up candle. And of course, for the week, we have a decent candle. We're at right there at average volume as we predicted. First day of this latest 2-day candle. Again, a little smaller than the prior candles, but it's moving in the right direction. Not as much volume, not even half of what we saw in the last candle, but we'll keep our eye on things, see how the week starts out. Now, we drew this line for you, this horizontal ray being where the market topped before at around the 565 mark. Well, we're up to 562.13. Will we get up to and surpass, or will we bounce off it again? That's what we're paying attention to. Saw things move over yesterday on the half-day chart heading down, but then, of course, popped up today a nice 1% more that we could pull out of it. Now, of course, the trade that I am in for practice trading is going long on the NASDAQ 100. I rode this down beautifully. I shared with you the win that we had there. This is the inverse fund. This is what I jumped in. This was actually a real trade for me. I jumped into this, garnered 2.76% pretty quickly, sold half as we always do, hitting one time the 2-day ATR, which is listed right here. And of course, you can see that listed right here. It was $1.13 or 2.76%. And then, of course, popped up again and let me clear 2 times ATR, and that's where I pulled the plug. Now, could I have stayed in longer and made more? I could have. But again, what time of year is it? It's an election year. How long do you think the authorities in charge of the banking system, the Federal Reserve, the stock market, all the executive branch of government, how long do you think that those folks are going to let the market go down in an election year with the party in charge running to get reelected? Well, they're not going to let it go down long. So I took my money and ran, ended up 5.51%. Probably could have made, 7, 8%. But again, 5.15% in less than 3 weeks. I was very happy with that, my friends. And then things turned right back over. And of course, we jumped in going long. And look at what it's doing here. Moving in the right direction. Not hard to call it the right way when you have volume with spinning top turnarounds and then jumping in and moving in the right direction. Things going our way. So I am long the NASDAQ 100. Let's see how high it'll go along with the S&P. What's up with 20-year bonds? Well, they're up again today, 0.65%. They had a day dipping down yesterday, pushing up. Look at that. Ended the week sitting right on that prior ceiling. Now, we pushed through that ceiling with some wicks, but at the end of the week, we didn't see the candlestick go through it. So we'll see how this next week goes. Are bonds going to bounce off that ceiling and move back down? We'll see. We'll see just where they go this next week. We don't have volume to help us into jumping into any kind of trade because we just didn't have clean crossovers. Now, we've seen them before in bonds. I've showed you this many times before when we saw things move down last year, then turn around and move up at the end of the year in bonds. That was beautiful. That was readable. That was pretty. We don't have things pretty in bonds right now. So we're just waiting for them to straighten themselves out. Now, gold, punchy gold, punching up again. And of course, second week after, now gold, tried to move up, then sort of died on us. Then we had a green spinning top week. Then we had an indecision week. Then things took over. Just, again, charts that are hard to read. And if they're hard to read, I'm not trading them. Now, you might say, well, Thom, gold went up. Well, it's going to go up or down, isn't it? I can't guess. I want the charts to back up my decision. First rule of trading, don't lose money. Second rule of trading, don't lose money. Third rule of trading, make money. I'm not going to do things that aren't backed by percentages of winning. And when you're just guessing, you're gambling. I'm not going to gamble with my money or my practice trades. I'm not going to adopt bad habits just for the hell of it, throwing a dart at a dartboard. Not going to do that. I'm going to go in the direction when I have charts that are telling me the direction to go into, and that means Heikin-Ashi candlesticks and volume that explain to me what's going on with price. And so I can read what the insiders are doing and what the general public is doing. If you're not taking our training on volume, man, you have been missing out. I tell you what I'm going to do. Put it at the end of today's video. Now, for everybody who's a subscriber at chartingwealth.com, your special training is on backtracking. If you haven't taken that one, please take it over the weekend. You'll see the link in your show notes to that video. It is a great training you will get a great deal out of, as will those of you who have not taken our volume training. You will indeed love it. Lastly, we will go to HODL. That is the Bitcoin ETF. What do we see going on there? Green spinning top, my friends. It turned green today with that big 5.55% up move. You can see it up in the morning, further up in the afternoon on the intraday half-day chart. You can see a big green candle forming first day of the latest two-day candle. And of course, you can see the volumes up to about half. Now, didn't have any volume to lead us on this way. Don't know really where things are going. Bitcoin has popped up today. That's what turned it green, a green spinning top. Maybe it's going to take off again. But my friends, no volume's helping us here. It's helping us with the interim low, but we need some kind of signal here on volume to get us into an up move. I would have loved it if we had average or higher than average volume on this green spinning top. I would be jumping in, writing it up. The way it is now, I don't have anything to rely on but a hunch. And I'm not going to play a hunch. Not with Bitcoin. It'll kill you. It'll cut your throat. Now, I did play this one, if you guys recall. Nice down move. I think it was BITI. It's the inverse of Bitcoin. Very liquid, very beautiful. I had a nice down move in it. Why? Had an interim high with average volume. Had a red spinning top. I jumped in and rode that baby down and made a pretty penny. Hope some of you did the same in your practice trades. I always say, I may do something with my money and with my skill set. Everything that I recommend to you here on the channel is for a practice trade. We are not a stock calling service. We're not an education firm. If I do jump into a trade, I may tell you I may not, but I practice trade all of these. And again, they're important to do. They help you build your skill set. They help you maintain your skill set. I took lessons one time as a much younger person on violin lessons, and I had a professional violinist who was the first chair in a local orchestra, symphony orchestra, and I asked him how much he practiced. And he told me he practiced 8 hours a day, and I saw him play, and I could believe that. And I said, well, what, haven't you already learned to play the violin? And he's like, yes, I learned to play the violin, but I practice to keep myself skilled. And that, again, is why you need to practice all the time. Don't ever stop practicing. Even in trades you're not going to jump in, but there's something that intrigues you about it. You're trying to learn something. Nothing works better than practicing it. And again, not being sloppy, not doing stupid stuff, not just throwing a practice trade out there for the hell of it, but because you are trying to add to your skill set and learn something more. Very important. That is where we are as we wrap up this week. Another great week in the markets. S&P, NASDAQ 100 going long, just beautiful. Gold popping up, Bitcoin turning around at the end of the week. Bonds going up, but giving us no real signal on gold or bonds. And Bitcoin only really shot up at the end of the week. So we'll watch as this new week develops. I'm staying long in the NASDAQ 100, seeing how well that will do me if we're going to bounce off those ceilings on the S&P and NASDAQ. See where this next week goes. Patreon members, thank you so much for your support. If you appreciate what we do here, hey, a great first gift to Patreon members. You get Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. Comes in the first email at any of the 3 levels of support. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.